Hey, what's going on, people? Just want to do a quick video. Basically, I guess this is about the time that I do my review after about 400 hours in the game, First Ascended. TLDR, game has good bones. They're also working on things to improve it. So, long story short, that's where it is. It's enjoyable. If I had to give it a rating, about a 7.5 out of 10. Definitely need some things to improve on. Now, for those of you that are here for the long version, I just wanted to start off by saying that the grind can get a bit tedious at times, but you know those things are being circumvented later on when they do basically pity, essentially, for the game. A couple of other things that I am kind of on the fence about. The first thing would be like the nerfing of some bosses to make them easier. Like I understand that they are catering to the casual basis, which you should do as a developer for a game that you want to have longevity. However, for me, I'm between a casual and like a sweaty per se. So I need something that has more difficulty, or else I'm just going to get bored relatively quickly with the game. So games that have, you know, some sort of level of difficulty as you're progressing or something like that, that appeases me. I don't know about the rest of the community, but that's something that I would like. Like Gluttony is probably the hardest boss we have right now, and even now that everybody's starting to figure him out, he's starting to become easier to fight. I mean, yes, I understand with randoms it can be a nightmare. I get it, but if you have the right characters in there, it's a cakewalk. I'm hoping that they up the difficulty for some content, not all, just certain content to where like you can get the tippy top, the best of the best, like gear or weapons, whatever the case may be, just for the people that really want to grind and sweat. So that's one of the key things that I tend to have. I'm on the fence about right now. Another thing would be the crafting. The crafting is literally abysmal, in my opinion. The fact that you're only limited to five crafts and you're locked out of everything else, I feel like that needs to change immediately because that if I'm trying to craft multiple katas, I can't even do that. I'm restricted to one per every, I believe it's what, 8 hours or something like that. See, like right now, I think I just finished one. Yeah. So I got a crystallization catalyst and a Valby part. So if you're at five things crafting, you're locked out of everything else. So that's my other thing. It's not really a really big thing, but it kind of is. But that's something I think they need to do immediately. Now, I do appreciate them being very transparent with everything that they're doing. However, there are certain things that, I mean, I guess they're pretty much on it as far as like bugs and things like that. If they create a bug, they usually patch it within a couple of days. Like for instance, the auto assist. Like when I was playing after the day after the patch or the day of the patch, the auto assist was out of whack, and so I couldn't even like target what I really wanted to target on the mobs, as far as breaking parts and things of that nature. Now, some of the good things, the character diversity. I do like the character diversity right now for where it's at. I understand the game is in the early stages, so trying to compare it to a game like a Warframe or a Destiny is kind of not fair to this game in its current state, because I think a lot of people tend to forget, especially for Warframe. I remember Destiny, it was pretty decent in its early stages. Warframe was kind of in the same area when it first started out 10 years ago. Um, so that's where so that's where that is sitting at currently. Um, I do think they need to add some more grinding locations for resources, more specifically like Kuiper. I mean, we have gold, that's fine, but Kuiper is like a really big one. I wish there was a special operation that we could use to just farm Kuiper, not in a ridiculous amount, but maybe like a wave based farm or something like that. because defense it's a snooze fest for me. And that's just for me personally. I hate doing defense, and I know that's what a lot of people do to run their Kuiper shards and things like that. But I would like something an interactive special operation that gets you maybe like 200,000 Kuiper per run or something like that. I don't know. I don't know the numbers, but I'm just spitballing that out here. Um, Another thing, I think there needs to be a little bit more mob density. I'm sure they're probably going to do mob variety, but mob density does feel lacking in certain situations. More specifically, when you're out in the open world, I know this is something that a lot of people pointed out, and I'm kind of on the fence. I'm kind of in agreement with them because it does feel very barren in that regard. When you're out there in the open world, you don't really see anything when you're running around. Now, to circle back to the diversity, I understand there's a big hoopla about Bunny and, certain characters being farming characters and things like that. Um, they do make it accessible for people to farm those characters. However, I do understand for the people that don't want to go to private mode to farm, that they want to play with other people, but they get tired of seeing Bunny. I understand that. I don't think there's really anything you can do per se as far as that situation outside of just going to private mode or playing, getting a group and going to do some stuff out in the open, like farming or whatever the case may be. So we covered the bosses. The bosses are pretty much let me just say this on bosses. The bosses really, I think their order sequence needs to be changed a little bit. It needs to scale according to difficulty instead of however they whatever sequence they use to do the bosses currently. Because at this moment in time, Gluttony is the hardest, but the one before Gluttony is Molten Fortress, and Molten Fortress, in my opinion, is a joke as far as a boss character. So it should have been like Molten Fortress, then Frostwalker, then Gluttony, so that way people can get used to the scaling of difficulty for mobs, not like a roller coaster sequence per se, if that makes sense for the people that are listening. So those are pretty much the key things. Let's see what else. Last thing, let us re-roll reactors with some sort of currency like we can do with our guns, please. So we don't have to keep farming reactor after reactor after reactor, so we can roll those stats and get everything a lot quicker. I'm sure you guys are working on that, but that's probably one of my other things that I when I open up the map and I'm like, okay, I can't farm my reactor for the next 4 days, it kind of just puts a sour taste in my mouth as far as playing. I know there's other stuff I can do, but if I'm looking forward to going on and doing one reactor and I can't do it 4 days, then that's pretty much where that stands. Outside of that, the good things, there's a lot of good things about this game. And like I said, the base structure is good. Their cadence for their descendants are good. I do like the fact that they are experimenting. Granted, Luna, I like Luna. I know a lot of people hate her, hate the character, but I like the fact that they're experimenting with something different that we haven't seen in other games. Like, yes, I understand Octavia, you have to crouch and stuff, but you just AFK. With Luna, you kind of have to keep doing it, do your damage and your buffs, things like that. It's more intuitive. So just ready to see where they go with other characters. I know we have a new one coming out probably at the start of season 1, so I'm kind of excited for that. I know it's going to be another damage character, so we'll see where that goes. Their cadence for the Descendants is really good. I do enjoy that they're doing them. It seems like they're doing them once or two. Well, a new Descendant and like an Ultimate every 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks, something like that, because Luna came out at the near the tail end of July. Yeah, so it seems like they're doing one every couple of every month for the most part. Now that may change as we progress, but there was another comparison video that I'll probably have up as well, talking about the supports and variety of Descendants that they could possibly do, and comparing it to Warframe as far as their structure, because it seems like they're trying to go in the same cadence. Overall, those are pretty much my thoughts. I don't think I really missed anything. If you guys have something that you want to discuss, please leave it in the comments below. But like I said, I think a lot of stuff that people are talking about, they're already addressing. There are some things that do need to be fixed, and I've already stated those. But
Outside of that, like I said, it's about a 7.5 out of 10. It's a solid game to, waste some time on if you have nothing else to do. Are there other games that you can play outside of this? Yes, but me being who I am, I like being on the ground floor and building myself up, so that way I'm not behind the eight ball. Let's say a year from now, and I come to play this game, and then there's a whole lot of stuff like the barrier of entry is not too high, and I hope they keep the barrier of entry low as well, as the game continues on for years, because we don't need a Warframe, a Warframe level of entry where you get in, you're like, what the hell do I do after the first 30 to 45 minutes of the game? But hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm out here later.